In this lesson, we will finally get to work on our main page, timeline, that is represented by the component called the timeline. So let's go ahead and create initial structure within that component. Let's open up file the timeline, and we will create the following markup: div, within which will be UL element, with only one list item for now, and one anchor tag inside. And this anchor tag will be used to show a particular hour in a day. And since there are 24 hours in a day, we're going to render this li element 24 times. So let's use v4 directive. And besides iterating over arrays and object properties, v4 directive also allows us specify the exact number of iteration this loop should go through. And we'll say that we'd like to iterate over 24 times by specifying number. And in the browser, we're supposed to see that this li element was rendered exactly 24 times. And now let's hardcode basic array in here, which will contain 6 elements. And we will use loop variable I to show particular hour. And now we see that li element was rendered exactly 6 times. So now it's time to apply some styles to this li element. Let's go back to the editor and start applying classes. First of all, we're gonna assign CSS property position with value relative, make this element flexible container with the main axis vertical. Let's also specify spacing between all child elements, for example 2 units. To every li element we're gonna add top border with the gray color. And finally, we're also going to add paddings. Vertical paddings will be 10 units, horizontal paddings will be 4 units. Let's check it out in the browser, what we've got so far. And this is how our list items currently look like. Now we're going to assign classes for anchor tag. Let's round corners for this element, make background color gray. We're also going to specify horizontal paddings 2 units, use monospaced font with a large text. And the color of this text we're also going to make gray. And here it is. Now we're going to move this label so it is positioned in the center. It is actually very easy to do with Tailwind CSS classes. First of all, we're gonna have to make this A element absolutely positioned by using absolute class. Going to shift it up by 4 units and move it to the right by the half of the width of the parent container. And we're almost there. And now it's just a matter of moving this element a little bit to the left. And the distance that we should move it to the left should correspond to the half of the width of this element. And this can be achieved by one of the Tailwind CSS transform classes. And specifically the class that we need is called translateX 1/2. And since we are translating to the left, we also need to specify minus in front of this class. After that, we'll format the code in this file a little bit and look in the browser. And here we go, we have positioned this label exactly where it needs to be. We'll just have to make one more tweak so that the first label will be fully visible. Back to the editor, and for the main wrapper, which is this div element, we're gonna assign top margin by using class mt7. And so that we don't forget, let's also use key attribute next to the v4 directive. And as a unique value, we can use loop variable I. And here is our final result so far. In the next lesson, we're gonna continue working on this page.